In this video, we're going to talk about two habits that have helped me with my depression and regulating my emotions. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kerim, and I have had depression and problems with my emotions for over 15 years. And in this video, I'm going to help you get through those faster. First habit is going out into nature. Now, I've heard this one from a doctor, and I'm pretty sure it was Dr. K. Can't fully remember though. However, what he said stuck to my mind, and to this day, I tell myself that one again and again. That is that there's nothing that does not get better from a walk. And I'll add on to that, there's nothing that doesn't get better from a walk in nature. Now, there are many benefits from going out for a walk, especially if you go out into nature. And because of that, I would say if you're feeling down right now or having problems with your emotions, do the same as I do now. I'm going to go out for a walk in nature and I'm taking you with me. So let's get there.
Now, going outside into nature has a lot of benefits. And just recently, for example, I was feeling pretty down, to be honest. There was a day where I didn't really sleep well, and that caused me to kind of have my triggers again for my addictions. And I just remembered what I told you just now, that there's nothing that doesn't get better when in a walk outside in nature. And honestly, it worked, as it does every time, because your mind is able to just take some distance. You are allowing your subconscious to simply do its thing, basically go into idle mode. What that means is that your mind isn't busy processing whatever you're blasting it with, be it watching Netflix, be it playing video games, or anything of the sorts that just completely occupy your brain. And by doing this, you can finally let your subconscious process most of your emotions. All right, so as you can see with my background, everything in nature, or most of it, is green. And that has a very specific purpose for what we are trying to achieve. Green, to our brain, is very calming. And there are two systems, nervous systems, in our body that have an impact on that. The first one is the sympathetic nervous system. And as you might have heard of it, it's not as nice as it sounds. It's the fight or flight system. And the other one, the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, is the one that we want to activate when we are having problems with our depression, with our emotions, to calm down our mind. For that, we can go outside, see green, as you do right here. That will activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest system, which is very good for us when we are having triggers, let's say from trauma or having bad emotions in that moment, because this allows us to be in a much more calm state, to allow us to actually process emotions in the before mentioned idle state, which will allow us to process most of what is going on for our subconscious, which is extremely powerful, by the way, as I mentioned, to process whatever is there, whatever is happening to you. So by going out, we are getting a lot of benefits, right? We're getting the green from nature. You're in idle mode for your brain, allowing it to finally process whatever it has to process. You know, if you're playing video games or doing anything else of the likes, just blasting your brain away, you're not really going to process anything, nor is your subconscious going to. In fact, you're probably just going to add to the problem. Another benefit of being in nature, outside, away from whatever is bothering you, is that you can actually get some distance from whatever is triggering you. Whatever that is, if it's a person, if it's you having bad habits, just playing video games, or doing anything of the sort all the time, whatever it is, you're getting some distance. Right here in the outside where I am right now, and you hopefully are too right now, you can just be away and gather your thoughts. You can gather whatever thoughts you need. This in turn also allows you to take some emotional distance from it, to see things in a much more clear picture, so to speak, which in the next habit, you could probably use this to your advantage to then write it down. Now, talking about writing, let's go back inside and talk about that habit.
All right, so back in here, second habit is expressive writing. Now, if you've never heard of that before, you probably have heard of journaling, and it is kind of similar to that. However, there's a slight difference. Expressive writing is where you go either to past traumas, write about them, or you write about things that are bothering you. Now, there are various long term benefits from doing this, and there's a lot of research. However, in this video, I'm not going to go full in depth on all of those. I'll do that one later on. If you enjoy that one, leave a comment if that is of interest to you. However, what I can tell you is that you're probably going to have a lot of tears flowing when doing this, especially if you're going for something that is traumatic to you, especially if it's something like childhood trauma or anything of the likes that I had. And the very good benefit of this is that it's very cheap and very easy to do, and you only need two things to do this, and that is a paper and a pen. And with those two things, you can do a lot. So, how this works is that you probably should take yourself 4 times 30 minutes. Meaning, let's say you start today. You take 30 minutes today in silence. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is supposed to read this other than you. And then you take your pen and your paper and you start writing about whatever is bothering you the most right now, or, which is my recommendation, with the warning, if you have the capability of doing so, if it isn't too emotional for you right now, to write about something traumatic that has happened to you. By doing so, this is going to allow you to process and go back to those times. And the important bit about this is that don't hold back on what you're writing. Write with emotions. Don't try to just vent. Literally go back in time. Go through what happened. As painful as that is, and I know that, like, I'll be honest here, I had tears flowing most of the times, especially on some parts. And this is also a lesson that you should take from this habit, that if you do have some tears flowing on a very specific thing that you're writing, or a very specific moment that you're writing about, that's kind of showing you that you're very emotionally charged on that specific moment. That one is probably hurting you the most, which is why this is such a great habit, because this allows you not only to finally process these emotions, to finally go and sit there with your emotions, to give yourself the emotional support that you yourself haven't gotten. Give that one to yourself. And that's the beautiful thing. You're gonna learn slowly but surely to be with yourself, with your emotions, whether they make you cry, whether they make you hurt, or anything that is considered negative. They all serve a purpose. We should be able to sit with them, cope with them, and especially allow our past selves to finally get the support and to process those emotions. It is basically like therapy for yourself. And as I said, you do this 4 times, 30 minutes. You simply take your pen and paper, be alone, write for 30 minutes about that topic. Take some time afterwards. Be sure that it's not before sleep because it is very emotionally charged. And then leave it be. Do it again the next day or 2 days after. Have a bit of a pattern. Try to do it somewhat in a short time. Do not wait for like months with this. Try to do it in about a week, maybe 1.5, right? You will see a lot of long term benefits from doing this. I promise you that. And if you've done this, leave a comment down below how that feels to you. And if you want to know more about how to process your emotions, click this video right here, and I'll see you on the next one.